What's up, everybody? I'm Tyler with Tactical Dad Life. Thank y'all for coming to my Google Classroom. This class, we're going to be going over knife safety and wood processing. Three things that I carry with me in my pack. I carry this old hickory knife. I use this mainly for splitting firewood, for batoning and cutting down trees if I have to. I use that bigger knife. That's a full tang knife there. For smaller projects, for whittling and making tinder and splitting small pieces of kindling, I use this Mora knife. Mora makes some really good stuff. I think they're like 12 bucks on Amazon. It's high carbon steel, really good stuff for the price that you pay. This one has a flint steel or ferro rod in it. I always keep this one with me. Really good buy. And then I keep a handsaw with me. I always carry a handsaw. It's a whole lot easier to cut limbs with this instead of having to use my old hickory to baton and cut down trees or what have you. So this Mora knife is what we're mainly going to be using today. First thing I want to go over is your grip. You want to grip your knife with a full fist, just like this. Okay. We don't need your thumb hanging on the spine right there. Don't do that. We don't need your index finger hanging over your guard right there. Okay. Just as if you're holding a hammer or an axe hatchet handle, just like that right there, okay? Second thing I want to go over is your blood circle. 360 degrees around you where you're going to be working. That is your blood circle, okay? I want to be mindful of people in that blood circle, because if you're whittling and you're cutting and processing wood and you flail off like this, somebody's near you or walking beside you, you'll slice them, stab them, you'll injure them, so be mindful of your blood circle. Third thing is you want to be mindful of your triangle of death, right here, okay? Your groin area and your femoral arteries, okay, right here. You don't want to be whittling right here, because you flail off, you slice open your femoral artery, you're going to bleed out and you're going to die. Same thing with your groin area. So if you're doing any kind of processing of your wood and whittling, you want to either be out front or you want to be to the side like this right here, okay? I'm going to go over three positions for wood processing. The first one being the normal position. You go to the side like this here, okay? What I like to do is I like to hold my knife stationary, and I like to pull the wood to me like this. You have a little bit more control pulling the wood to you than trying to do this right here, especially if you want to do a feather stick and get some fine cuts. Can't really do it as much. Doing push cuts like this is more for cutting off your feathers like that right there, okay? Knives are made for slicing, keep that in mind. They're not made for push cuts, although you can do push cuts like this right here. They're really made for slicing. It's a little bit easier to get these fine feathers if you can work your wood just right. Get these fine feathers just like this, okay? If you put your blade on your hand like this and you push down, it's not going to cut you. But as soon as you move it this way or this way, it's going to cut you, okay? So it's made, whenever you're processing your wood down to make feather sticks or whatever, you want to cant the blade towards you or away from you. You want to do a slicing motion like that right there, okay? Second position is going to be the knee lever. So if you're down on your knee on the ground or like this, you're going to use this as leverage against your knee. And it's the same thing. You're pulling the wood towards you, okay? Get all this off here. You're using this, you're not flailing your knife like I was doing just then. You're pulling the wood towards you. And you're making more precise cuts. That way you keep that blade right there nice and close to you. You got to worry about flailing it off. Just like that, okay? Third position is the chest lever. You want to invert your knife and hold it like this, just as if you're going to stab something. You're going to come here. This is going to be more for if you are trying to take off large chunks of wood. If you're trying to make a tent spike, sharpen the end of a stick for a trap or something to hold your pot over the fire, something like that. And what you'll do is you grab it like this, and you're using your back muscles to take large chunks, just like that, okay? That's your chest lever. So, got the normal way, side lever, the side position, rather, like this. Got your knee lever, doing this, and you got your chest lever, and taking large chunks off, okay? One of the first things you want to do whenever you make camp is find you a baton. Baton should be about axe handle length, about as big as around as your wrist, so you can get a good grip around it, about like this right here. This is going to be used for, you can use it for batoning, for cutting down small trees to make firewood. You can use it for splitting firewood. You can use it for knocking off smaller limbs on sticks. If you don't have to use your knife for anything, don't. If there's any other means that you can go about doing something, and say you got a stick here, instead of using your knife trying to cut and break it in half, if there's anything that you can process down like this with your knee, there's no point in using your knife. You want to save your edge. You want to use your knife when you just absolutely have to. So don't use your knife for anything other than what you have to. But finding a baton like this is really essential. Like I said, using it for cutting down limbs. You can use it to drive your tent stakes for your shelter or whatever. Really good thing to have. So let's say we have this piece of kindling right here. We want to break it down a little bit more into smaller, thinner pieces like this right here that's going to burn a whole lot easier, and that we can make better feather sticks out of, and it'll burn a whole lot when you use it for tinder. You'll take whatever stick it is that you got, you'll put your knife right there in the middle, just like that right there. You don't want to have too much knife hanging over the edge here, but you don't want it all the way to the tip like this. You want a good length right here. There's enough to where you can baton right here. You give it a good little tap right there in the middle, and so you got it started. Then you just run it down the stick. Just like that right there. So now I have a thinner piece that'll burn a whole lot easier. I can make that to a feather stick. You can whittle on it and have small pieces into that feather. Or you can shave off pieces for good tinder. Start of a little feather stick right there. That'll burn a whole lot easier. Whole lot easier. This right here is still a little thick, and what you can do, you can just spin it, you can split it the other way, and just keep processing it down. Sometimes you'll hit some knots and it won't break evenly. You just keep on going. Just like that. A whole lot easier to burn. You're just processing it down like that. That's called batoning. Good tool to have a baton so that you can do that. All right, so now for making tinder, it's always good to have a knife with a 90-degree spine on it. What you can do is, you take some of this wood that I've split down, you take the spine of your knife. You don't want to use your edge, your tip, your heel, nothing like that. You want to flip it around and use the spine. You just want to shave it off like that right there. You can make fine little pieces of tinder, just like that right there. That'll help you start a fire a whole lot easier. that. So remember, making tender, you want to use the spine of your knife. Now for more precise, smaller cuts, you don't want to be doing small little whittles like this right here. What you want to do is you want to do a scissor motion. So you'll take your knife and you'll use your thumb as like a fulcrum, and you'll do like a scissor motion. Just like that. Notice how I don't have my finger on the spine there. I have it right here on the guard. It gives you a little bit more precision, a little bit more control. That's going to be for your finer cuts, your finer whittles. You want to do it in a scissor motion. Like this right here. You can even use some of those shavings there for your tender. Got it rolling off. Just like that right there. Well, that's it for this short video on knife safety and wood processing. Thank y'all for everything y'all do and y'all support. I hope y'all learned something. We'll see y'all later.